We're now done with the lathe, that's covered up for a bit. Next thing to do is install the unions on here where the hydraulic oil and the hydraulic pipe will fit to. So what I've done is I put it in the vise and I just essentially put this on the bed, squared the eye up to it because that port should be in the middle of the eye, which will then give me the top here so I can find the highest point down here just by going across it, and I can then put my centre drill in here. I'll drill it out to 14 mil and then I will mill it flat just enough to get the boss on here. I've marked it up already. I need to cut and part it off here at the end, and then this bit's going to be the threaded area. First things first, I need to put the centre drill in here and then we'll just find the highest point. And after we found the highest point, we can drill our pilot hole. The centre drill hasn't worked, so what I have done is put the milling cutter in, and I've taken it across till it just touches. Next thing's to move the x-axis 10 mil that way, or maybe 15, and the same that way, and we'll just make a flat spot then for this just to drop in, sit square and be welded on. Hopefully it won't take too long. And there's my weld prep. So yeah, I get a lot of people probably just bored it out to 22 mil as a round circle and then fill it in with weld, but I can bring the weld round and it's gonna have a nice fillet radius in there anyway, so that's not a problem. And there's not a lot of difference between the depth of that and the depth of the banding. Well, there probably is a little bit, but with the amount of weld going on here, it's not going to affect the structural integrity of the tube, which is good. So we'll give that a clean up and then we can get that welded on. We now have the new cylinder tube in the lathe. What I've had to do is had to take the 3-jaw chuck off and put the 4-jaw chuck on. So 2 drills here holding it, stopping it going that way, and I've had to put some washers in here just so that it misses the spherical ball inside. So that now lets me clamp onto this part rather than clamping on the ball. So that's nice. I've got that clocked in as best I can. I've started just to clean this end up a little bit, and I've just measured it and it comes in at 60.17 mil. So I'm going to take it down to 60 or 60.95 and then I'll put the threading insert on and we'll start cutting the 2mm pitch on here. Now I've had to machine a little bit of the weld off because the thread has to go right the way up that far to get the 21mm thread on. So it's fine, there's still plenty of weld on it, it's not a problem, no concerns about that. This tool does have a very small radius on the end, so it doesn't have a really sharp edge, which is good. So we'll take that down to final size now, and then we'll swap it out for the threading insert. Okay, so that should now be down to our finished size that we need. Okay, that's looking quite good at 59.8, which will be fine because the original one is 59.75. So happy with that. So we'll swap this tool out now for the threading tool. We'll set the speed on the gearbox, which is on this little chart here. So we need 2mm in terms of pitch, which is gonna be not on that one, so we might have to change the tooth. We'll go to that one or see if the pitch can go on that one. So we will have a look at that, swap the gears round and get that sorted. First things first, set the compound to 30 degrees because we're cutting with a 60-degree metric thread pitch. So where are we? 10, 20, 50. That'll do me. And then that'll let me cut on the leading side of the insert as we feed it in. So that's it, nice and tight, only nipped up. Meantime, I'm just going to put my cutting tool in, take it up to the pipe, put my set square on like so, square it up to the set square, and then I can just tighten it down, and I know then that the tip is cutting square to the job. Job's a good one. Nip that, nip that, nip that. We'll do a test to make sure we're cutting on 2mm thread pitch, and then we'll be good to go. We did our initial like scratch pass, and for whatever reason when I changed to the 32, 120, 127 and 32 tooth combination as it says on the chart and put it into B2, the thread pitch I get cut is not 2mm. So I've changed the gearing now to 40, 120, 127 and 40 and I'm going to try it again and see what that gives me. One of the other problems I've had is this little indicator dial is driven off of the lead screw, and for whatever reason this gear was sitting too high, so we can see where it's just about touched in the past, and that lets you disengage and engage again at the correct point to keep the cut in the same place. All I'm doing is putting a couple of washers underneath just to push it down a little bit more, and hopefully that will then engage and we can use it. Now we change the gearing, we're going to go B6, which I've now set it to on the gears, so hopefully now it will do the correct cut. Try that. Now, thread gauge and see what that gives me. And that's given me the thread pitch of 2, which I want. So what I'm going to do is put some tape over the bottom thing on there, because for whatever reason it just does not work, and we can continue cutting like this. So wind it back out a little bit, reverse it, and off we go. So there, back into 0 on the cross slide, advance it a little bit on the compound, and we are thread cutting, which is really, really nice. Oh dear, didn't like that, did it? Okay, so we can't get all the thread on it. Probably have to thread file that last bit then, or something like that. Don't know what's going wrong somewhere with the measuring. Must be slightly too far this way, but shouldn't be, because I measured centre to centre. But obviously there is a problem, so no harm done. That just pushed out, so pop that back in and off we go. Maybe not. The reverse switch is now playing up. Oh, marvellous. Another job. Reverse switch is in here, unfortunately for me. So we'll take the cover off and adjust that. So there's our two switches, and the problem is that just doesn't kick over enough. So it is just a case of adjusting it on here. So should really switch the power off so I don't start it by accident, and loosen it on a little bit, and then just give it a tap in. Hopefully there's enough just to get it to work. If not, there's a little adjusting screw under the back there which we can try. Guard down. Little tweak and we're back in business. So we'll pop the guard back on as I clean the swarf out while we're there. It's in there and it's on. I never get the feeling it's going to be one of those days. I do. It's going to fight, isn't it? It wants to fight. I don't know why it wants to fight, but it does. And I'm a nice person. It's not fair. Yeah, okay. That makes sense. I don't fit. Could be a while. Might not be a while. Blasted thing. Try again. Right, let's change the insert. Turn that back up. Turn that round so we've got a new cutting edge. Tighten it back up and don't go in. Don't go in as far. And I think something has moved, something has jumped, something is not happy. Yeah, so this is the cylinder which I have just machined the end on, so I put a little lead in and faced it off. This is one I had problems where it came out of the centre steady. So what I've had to do is just where I started to thread it before it came out, I've had to just basically build it back up with the MIG welder. I put it back in the centre steady. I've machined it reasonably round to make sure that it's got enough to work with to put a new thread on. Little bits missing on the end, but I'm not overly concerned about that. Put a chamfer on the inside again, clean the inside back out. You can see just like where the gland just about touches, and the same on that one in there probably. I I'm not taking the chance now. I'm not going to take a chance on the centre steady going wrong on me again and popping out. So what I'm going to do is go to a friend's place and we're going to put the thread on with their machine because they've got a big spindle. So that's what we're going to do now. So next time you see them, they should have a thread on. Happy days.